For everybody else who just joined in, wishing all of you a very good evening. I'm Praneet. I head the undergraduate business and university partnerships for UpGrad Abroad. Super glad to be hosting you on a Wednesday evening. And thank you for joining in. We've got with us Central Washington University from Washington, the United States, wanting to talk about STEM courses in the US. And we've got a special course that we're launching this evening. And you're part of that group to which we're going to be launching this and speaking and briefing you guys on the course details, the nuances, the eligibility, the careers, the progression, every single thing. I think now may be a good time to start. I will start introducing the team. We've got Central Washington University. We've got Professor and Dr. Hideki, who's the MS ITAM Program Coordinator and advisor to CWU. You can say hi to him. Then we've got Rachel White, who's the outreach and recruitment specialist from Central Washington University. And we finally got Stacy, who's the associate director of international student and scholar services. Welcome, everybody. I'm hoping all of you can just say a quick 1 or 2 lines about yourself, and then we can start this.
Sure, I'll get us started. Good evening. Thank you so much for hosting us, Praneet. We're very excited to be speaking to you all about the opportunities of studying in the US and pursuing your master's degree. As Praneet mentioned, I'm Stacy. I've been with Central Washington University for 8 years. I love living in the Pacific Northwest and excited to share more. So I'll turn it over to Rachel.
Good evening, everyone. Thank you so much for being here. My name is Rachel White. I have been with this department for about 7 years. I have been taking classes myself, so I have a little bit of firsthand experience in the courses. I work very closely with our alumni and our current students, and I've lived in Washington my whole life, so it's my hope that you will come here as well and enjoy Washington as I have.
Thank you, Stacy. Over to Professor Hideki.
Good evening. Good evening. My name is Hideki. I'm actually program coordinator for this program. Actually, I'm an international student. I was an international student, so I understand what you're thinking now. You worry about so many things, but we try to answer you so you actually feel really comfortable to come to this area and study with us. And by the way, Master of Science is more specific studies than MBA. So MBA is very general ideas. I took MBA. But MBA is very general, so I need to have a graduate certificate. But if you took MS ITAM, you actually specialize when you have the master degree. So that's quite different. So when you get an MS, you're actually semi-professional from the beginning. So that should be the answer for that. Thank you.
I'm so sorry, I didn't realize as a mute. I have to embarrass myself once a day every time. Thank you so much. I think that answers the first one. But just so you guys know, we're here to build the context for STEM courses in general. So my first question to Stacy would be, what really is STEM? Why is it so important? Why is everybody talking about it? And I'm sure everybody who's attending this knows that for STEM courses in the US, you get additional 2 years of work visa, but that's a symbolic to the fact that they really care that they're attracting STEM talent to the country. So why do you think STEM is the future? I mean, we all have heard and know technology is inevitable. It is going to be a part of every degree, which is what also Professor Hideki was mentioning. But what is your take on this, Stacy?
So I think STEM is such a vital area of study because of the research aspect, the critical thinking, the innovation that all comes from those STEM majors. So you're speaking of science, tech, engineering, mathematics. So really focusing on those strong areas that can drive our world forward, think creatively. And which is why the STEM majors, as you mentioned, have that 2-year extra work opportunity on top of the 1 year for the optional practical training. I think that those studying in the STEM fields bring a unique aspect to the workforce, and a workforce that is constantly looking for more graduates that need more people to join forces to move our world forward in a very technology-driven environment.
Thank you, Stacy. For all the attendees to know, UpGrad actually launched a new program with Central Washington University in Washington. It's called the MS IT and Administrative Management Program. It's a 12-month long course in the US. And what UpGrad has done is that you do the first 8 months of a triple IT Bangalore advanced certificate program in data science. And you move to the campus and then you finish the rest of the course in 9 months. But you're actually doing about 3 courses already from India, and then you move to Washington, to the university, to cover the rest of the courses. So you've got 48 credits or 12 courses that you're supposed to do. 3 are already done as soon as you're done with your coursework in India. And you get a dual degree, you get a triple ID Bangalore ACP, and then you go to Central Washington University and do the MS ITAM. My next question, Stacy, having studied in the US, being an UpGrad, we talk about the US MS degrees day in and day out, but I've never really come across an MS ITAM degree. What is ITAM all about? How different is it from a project management degree? How different is it from an MBA IT degree? What's exactly the scope of ITAM and the progressions attached to it, Stacy? Or whoever you think can best answer this.
Yeah, I'm gonna have that Rachel answer that.
Absolutely. Thank you. It's a fantastic question, and we get it all the time. What is an MS ITAM? Is it better or different from an MBA? Essentially, the beauty of an MS ITAM is how unique it is, and employers recognize it almost instantly. We talk all the time with our advisory board, who have members from Fortune 500 companies, who tell us, you know, I have students who have a computer science degree that don't understand the business aspects, that can't communicate with the rest of the team, that don't understand how project management works. Those are their blind spots. So when we created this degree, it was really to address those blind spots, to create something in between computer science and in between, you know, computer science and the MBA, to incorporate both, to have an understanding of both camps so that work is not siloed. So these students, you know, are so unique because they can not only communicate with computer science, not only understand the products and sell the products, but they also understand how to implement them, how it affects business operations, and have a full functioning breadth of understanding of the IT world and of STEM and digital literacy. I think the important thing too, like Hideki had mentioned earlier, is that an MBA now is almost a dime a dozen, which means everyone has one, everyone knows what it is, but to have an MS ITM is so specialized, to have an understanding of both, to not just be what we call a one-trick pony, meaning that you only know how to do one thing and you do it great. With an MS ITM, you're demonstrating that you are specialized and know how to do many things great. So it's very competitive in that sense. And I will also just offer to Hideki to see if he has anything that he would like to add to that.
Sure. You know, MS ITAM, we have a advisory board that's coming from, you know, Google or Amazon or Starbucks, a large corporation. They are telling us what we should teach the student to increase employability. So IT revolution was all about technology, but now we have so many technical people. But now company looking for the person who can actually know the technology, but also management. So that is a future category of the employment. So we are moving from the IT revolution technical side to the more subscription type of society. So in the subscription type of society, we need managers. That's something we try to actually produce to the society. So when you actually study us, you study management to be a good manager, then you actually learn some specialized area, whatever, data science or cybersecurity. But when you join the corporation, you're going to be a manager over the technical people. And that is something important when you have an MS ITAM degree, not MS IT or MBA in IT. These are technical degree, but we are technical, but more like advanced manager type of degree. So it's a huge difference.
Thank you, Professor Hideki. While that's an extension of what I asked you, I wanted to know the career progressions. But now that you brought me to a point, I think one of the things that I'd like to know is, and it's very interesting for all the attendees to know, is how is the bifurcation between the technical aspect of the course and the management aspect of the course? What are some of the technical skills that they learn? I mean, of course, they learn programming, Python, machine learning, and whatnot. But how much of management? So how are those two balanced in the course?
It's very balanced. Most of our technical courses are the ones that they will actually be completing now with the certificate in IIIT. Essentially, those courses we're teaching R, Python, machine learning, Tableau, all those fantastic scripting languages that we use in industry. So it's fantastic that they're picking up at the certificate before they get into their master's, because then when they get into their master's, they can really focus on the concept heavy management and research type. So when they get into the program, they'll be covering project management, global leadership, business communications, global business communications. So not just Western business communication, but global communication, which is fantastic. So this program really does focus on that leadership and management portion of IT in the digital world. So I think that's fantastic. So we do cover some of the technical stuff with the specialization classes. Most of it's being transferred in now. Students in our normal program who aren't transferring those in do take those classes with us. But those management leadership courses really are focused around understanding your leadership style, different types of leadership success, organizational structures, how we fit into that, how we lead organizational change and be change agents within our organizations, and just kind of that corporate structure of, management, leadership, project management, communicating, and making changes. And also sustainability within corporations as well, because we know that sustainability is a huge piece going forward. And again, I do want to toss it back to the professor, Dr. Takei, to see if I've missed anything.
Oh, you didn't miss anything. I'm a founding member of this program. So when we design it, for the managers has to understand human resource, finance, and also product and service and information. So we make sure that this core curriculum, which is make sure that you're going to be a great manager everywhere in this world. That's the first thing. The second one is specialization. It's not about we teach in technical side of it, but we teach technical side. Also, we're going to teach you some space for your learning. So you have basic ideas about it, but technology is changing all the time. So we teach you how to catch up with the technological advancement. So if you are actually good at basic management and you understand technical side and little space for the learning, you will be continuously a great manager. That is our original intention. And that's how we develop the curriculum.
Got that. So I think from what I figured and just discerned from Rachel in your comments is it does everything that an MBA program would largely do, but it also helps you keep pace with technology, but it also helps you keep your technical programming skills in check that they're largely going to be taking from us with the IIIT certificate. It's a good blend of both. I think blend of all three, actually, not even both. And I think for all the attendees to know, I think technology is inevitable. The rate, the pace, the speed at which it's scaling, growing, and changing. But also, I think one of the most coveted skills in the US tech space is being a leader. And how do you manage timelines? How do you manage the demands of each of your clients, which are, of course, increasing as at the same speed as technology is. So I think MS ITAM does cover that. I'm just going to take a short break, Stacy, Dr. Hideki, and Rachel. There's so many questions for you guys. We'll just wrap those up. Is the MSc and MCA available? So this is an MS course. So I hope I answered you that. So MSc in India is equal to how you say MS in the US. MS is Master Science. Is OPT offered to the graduate straight away after graduation, or are there complex procedures and chances that one might not get? So as soon as you do a STEM degree, you are eligible to get a 1+2 STEM OPT. It's given to everybody who successfully completes the degree. Yes, Stacy?
Yes, every student has the option to apply for it. The application process, students need to be working closely with their international advisor. So if they attend Central, I'll be working with myself and colleagues to ensure that their application is complete so that they are able to participate in OPT.
Perfect. We've got one more question. What extra curriculum we learn to make us more capable? So I think we've got a student who's asking about the job readiness or the extra skills that can help them be accepted in the job market and into your course. I think let me invite Stacy, Rachel, Professor Hideki, but I just want to give you a context. So we'll of course talk about the criteria for this course, but as long as you're doing the IIIT Bangalore Advanced Certificate Program, where you learn Python, machine learning, data toolkit, statistical regression, linear regression, logistical regression, you learn more about other tools like SQL, R, you learn about time series forecasting, Hadoop, all of these. As long as you're doing all of this, you're pretty much already foundationally set to enter the tech space. And MS ITAM or CW is just going to build on top of it as a project manager and as a leader. And those in whatever the team was speaking about in terms of skills and the necessary courses that you'll pick up. Now, I'll circle your question back to Rachel, Professor Hideki, and Stacy on what skills do you feel that MS ITAM can give you that the US economy at this point needs? I'll go back to them, although they just answered this, but still.
Do you want to answer that one, Dr. Takei?
Well, okay, so first of all, MS ITAM is actually a terminal degree for the business professionals. So you don't need to really study anymore once you finish MS ITAM. Now you study in the corporations. Now, what our degree is definitely for the future. The reason is that we're teaching, again, continuously you are actually learning. You have a learning capability in addition to the technical skill and soft skill. So that's something US is looking for because US corporation not really offering you training anymore. They try to save the money. So they need to have employees actually who can actually learn by himself, herself. And also they may go outside of this country because it's globalized. So the MS ITAM students like you guys, like an Indian student, the best for you guys because you're gonna have an American degree and also you know how to deal with American capitalism, which is everywhere. So you actually have a weapon to actually deal with your counterpart in the very nice way. At the same time, you can actually come to America to get a job, just like American get a job. So not only for the future of America, but also for you, if you want to go for the global, like I did. I was working in the Slovakia, Czech, and Bulgaria, you name it. But everything's a basic knowledge with learning capacity. You can go anywhere. And that's something we are looking for. So that's I say future of the MS ITAM degree, terminal degree, but also you can be continuously become a great manager, leader for anywhere in the world.
Thank you, Professor Hideki. We've got another question. Is there any scholarship? I think we'll come to the scholarship part a little later, but of course we're going to be speaking about all of this. But I think coming to the part where you're asking a scholarship, so when you do the 12 credits here in India, you're essentially saving close to about 15 lakh rupees, 15 lakhs, because you're spending or saving about 4 to 6 months of living costs. You're doing 12 credits extra. Each credit costs you about $900 US. So you can well imagine that you're almost saving close to about 108, $10,800, which is close to about 9 lakhs and another 5 and 6 lakhs of your living costs. So that scholarship right there in the first place. But also I think whenever you enter CWU, you enter as a regular student, so any scholarship that they normally give to international students or any grant or any XYZ funding that they have, you can of course apply for that as long as you fulfill the criteria that they normally have. But of course, we can ask more about scholarships. How much salary can I expect? I think I'd circle back to Professor Hideki again to ask him, what are some of the career progressions that you and Rachel would like to talk about that you've seen MS ITAM grads going into?
I do have this information handy if you would like for me to go over it, Dr. Takei. Yes, I work very closely with our alumni when they graduate to see where they're headed and see where they're going. And a lot of what they do is networking with us and with our network of, people in industry to find careers. So we do have a pretty good idea of where they are going. We do have this on a presentation slide later, but I'll go over it now. I did see somewhere in the chat, someone said, I don't have experience in data analysis and data sciences. So what can I expect as an entry-level position? Kind of one of the beautiful things of Seattle, Washington, and the Pacific Northwest is that our salary ranges on average are higher than the national average. So we pay more for these positions than the rest of the country does on average, the rest of the United States does on average. So just being in Washington State for these jobs, you're already at an advantage in terms of salary. Of course, we do have a little bit higher of cost of living, but it does keep up with that. So I think it's important to note that within our own area, people working in data analysis, 98% of the people who work in data analysis have a bachelor's degree in it. So just by having your triple IT and your master's degree, you're already more competitive than those applicants. And management analyst positions are increasing by 14%. The national average growth per year of any given job industry is only 4%. So to see management analyst roles and data analyst roles growing on an average percentage of 14% each year is astronomical. So in terms of some positions that our students currently work in, I'll focus on the entry-level positions since that was specifically mentioned. The information security analyst role as an entry position, students are making anywhere from 82,000 to 119,000 US dollars a year. And that's as an entry level position. For data analysis and insights positions at an entry level, we see students making 67,000 in our area. The range, of course, is about 53 to 86,000 based on, the different expertise that you bring in. For management analysts as an entry level position, we're seeing 87,000 as the normal price range for salary. The range in total is 57 to 115,000 a year. And then for someone who does marketing analysts manager at an entry level position, we're seeing anywhere from 44,000 to 77,000 average salary a year. So I know those are a lot of numbers to hear and not see. It is on a slide later on. It'll make more sense to see it, but we do have quite a range of capabilities in terms of entry-level positions, and we pay pretty well for entry-level positions as well. So I want people to keep in mind that data analysis is one of those careers that as long as you have the knowledge from the degree, which you already do from your triple IT certificate and the master's degree, I can't think of anything else you need outside of that to be successful for entry-level positions. You have SQL, you have R, you have Python, Hadoop. I really can't think of much more that you would need to be eligible for those entry-level positions and higher, to be honest. So yeah, I think that these salaries are very achievable for those first positions.
Thank you so much, Rachel. We've just got a follow-up question of that. I have 8 years of experience into cybersecurity and information security. If I do my master's now, technical master, will be considered as entry level? Absolutely not. When Rachel means entry level, that means you're a fresh grad. You just graduated out of college. Now you're doing your master's, and you enter the job market as a fresh entrant. If you got 8 years of experience backing you, of course, I think I could go back to her and then she could answer that. So I think largely what he wants to hear is, how much can I aspire to earn if I'm doing a master's after 8 or 9 years of cybersecurity experience?
With 8 or 9 years of cybersecurity experience, a triple IT certificate, and an MS ITAM, you will be highly sought after, and you can expect a large, I am jealous. To have both cybersecurity and data analysis, and business understanding, you will go far. You are by no means entry level. Entry level, like Praneet said, is primarily someone who has limited, under 3 years experience to no experience. So you will go far. You will have no problem finding very, very interesting jobs. There's a lot out there for information systems analysts, and I think that would align very well with your experience. I think you'll have a great time. applying for jobs and negotiating salaries.
Super. Just also want them to know that normally in a state like Washington, which is now becoming the next big Silicon Valley version, I have seen software engineers making about $160,000, $170,000 with that kind of an experience. Look, well, I think for companies, your skill set, your ability to solve complex problems, your ability to think and then come up with the right approach, that matters more. And the degree, which kind of degree have you done to cement all your skill set, that matters more. But so when you have a good confluence of project management and technical skills, you're a killer anyway for the job market. They need you. So I think Rachel answered that very, very, very well. How can we apply for this program? So for any program that UpGrad Abroad has, you can just go to our website, upgradabroad.com, and there you will see Central Washington University. If you don't see it, here's my email address, or here's what, you can apply to any MSDS course and they will eventually give you a call anyway. But I know Rachel, Stacy are giving me those looks, so I'll just put my email address. So you apply for Central Washington University only. I'm just giving you my email address. We just launched this, so it may take a few hours to go live. What is the eligibility criteria? So you need to have a computer science or technological or BTech or BE or BCA background with 60% in your bachelor marks, and you can slide in to the course. But I can still go back to Stacy and Rachel and Professor Hideki to advise who all can potentially apply, as long as we mandate that they will do the triple IDB course.
Absolutely. So you were already eligible with your triple IT certificate. So the application process is pretty streamlined for you. All we'll need is official transcripts from all previously attended institutions. We do ask that those be evaluated by WES or FIS. I have seen some questions in the chat. No, we do not require the GRE, and no, we do not require the GMAT. So really the only kind of testing that you would need to supply would be your English proficiency, the IELTS or TOEFL. And again, we are waiving that because your degree is taught in English. So for your application, we just need your official transcripts evaluated. We need to see that you have a 3.0 GPA or higher on the last 90 credits that you've taken. And then we ask for a personal statement and a resume and 3 letters of recommendation. So the personal statement is a cover letter style on why you're excited to pursue your MS ITAM, just 500 words. You're writing it to Dr. Hideki Takei. And then for your resume, we just want to see a baseline of work experience. You don't have to tailor your resume to our program or our curriculum. And then for the 3 letters of recommendation, you're just going to give us the name and email address of a professor, a coworker, a manager, an advisor, a mentor. Give us their name and email address. We'll send them a form. They fill the form out and they send it right back. So they don't have to handwrite a 3-page letter talking about how amazing you are. They just have to fill out a quick questionnaire. And that's the application process for us. And then once you're admitted, there are a few more documents that come in that Stacy can handle as well.
Thank you so much, Rachel. I think I'd like to go back and just ask one more final question before we actually present the entire university campus and the course nuances. Whoever wants to take it, Stacy or yourself. Surprisingly, the last weekend I was hosting a university in Seattle with which we also introduced an MS computer science course. And I think everybody from the attendees were really appalled by the fact that how great of a potential does Seattle actually hold. So that's one of the things that I want to ask you, that why does Washington make so much strategic sense for an MS in technology or technology management in the US?
I can start. So Washington State is Seattle is the 2nd largest tech hub in the US. It's booming. I mean, it's home to Microsoft, Amazon. We have a large Google office here. So it's just really built around tech. and the companies that come in, startups that come in all around the tech hub. So it's just a great environment for people pursuing degrees in IT and management, because that's our main employment here in Washington State.
Thank you, Stacy. I think now would be a great time for you to maybe present the university. We'd love to see the campus, see some of the course features, and anything else that you'd like to talk about. Plus, scholarships are a hot topic that everybody wants to know about, and we're super excited for this. We'd love to hear you guys present the university.
Absolutely. Let me get over to that screen. Okay, so yes, Central Washington University, not only the home of the MS ITAM program that we've been speaking about, and the home of Seattle, our largest city in our state. We are up in the Pacific Northwest, as you can see on the map here. So we border Canada and the Pacific Ocean north of California. So we are on the West Coast. Central Washington University is a public institution right in the center of the state. We are about 90 kilometers from the city of Seattle. So while we're close enough to the city that that's where you go for flying in from India, that's where a lot of those internship and job experiences are. You can study at our main campus here in Ellensburg, which gives more of a small community feel on the drier part of the state. So why choose Central Washington University? Well, we offer 10,000 students and a lot of the activities and programming that goes with a medium-sized student population. We really have that individualized attention in our classes. So the average class size is about 15 to 20 students. You always know your faculty members. You have opportunities to engage in research with your classmates and really grow your community when you first arrive here at Central. We have over 66 countries represented from our international population of about 350 students, including students from South Asia like India. As I mentioned, we're in the small town of Ellensburg, so it's super friendly, easy to access the community. We have a free transportation system, so you don't need a car. We're close to the mountains for those that want to experience nature and get outside and really see the beauty of Washington State. We offer housing on campus. While you're not required to live on campus, it might be easier for you since you're coming so far from home. We have 19 different residence halls, 5 apartment complexes. And as we mentioned, we have those partnerships with the large businesses in the Seattle area. So Amazon, Boeing, Microsoft, Starbucks, T-Mobile, Expedia. Our students are able to work closely with those companies, get placements for their internship and work opportunities. So Ellensburg, while it is small of a 20,000 population, it's beautiful. It has everything that you need in one location, and the cost of living is going to be less than it would be in a big city. So the areas of California or New York or even parts of Seattle, the cost of living can tend to be quite high, but here in Ellensburg, being a smaller town a little bit further from the city, your cost of living will be less. We love coffee, you know, the home of Starbucks here in Washington State. So just in Ellensburg, we have over 36 coffee shops. On campus, we have about 9. We bring in farmers markets, music festivals, a rodeo. So all of the things to experience the American way of life, you can do that here in Ellensburg. Our students are also engaged outside of the classroom. I mean, of course, we will keep you busy in your MS ITAM program, but you have opportunities to listen to music through our 30 musical ensembles. There's over 200 performances every year. You can get involved in some of our student clubs or organizations, whether it's student government, or maybe you're interested in learning about our entrepreneurship club, you could join that. Or we have an ethical hacking club. We have an international student club. We have a South Asian student association. And then we have all the different types of sports. So those that like to Participate in sports. You can do that here at Central, or you can go and cheer on our Wildcat teams through our 13 varsity athletics programs. As I mentioned with the residence halls, here's some quick pictures of the different options. Again, you don't have to live on campus, but it can be much easier for you, especially if you want to live in an apartment on campus. So you still have your own bedroom, but you're able to share with another person, have the cooking area, your kitchen and your living area, but still be on campus to easily navigate to your classes. All of our housing comes furnished with Wi-Fi. There's laundry facilities, markets, game rooms, study rooms, laundry facilities, making it an easy transition to come all the way to Washington State into Ellensburg and move right into your residence hall or apartment. And I will turn it over to Rachel.
Awesome. Thank you, Stacy. So MS ITAM does follow a cohort model starting in fall. And with this program, if you do the triple IT, it would be ending in the spring quarter. We do offer multiple specializations, but the one that makes the most sense if you have the triple IT would be the structures of data analytics specialization. So you would be a full-time student taking 3 classes each quarter. We do offer this hybrid. So 2 of your classes would be in person in Ellensburg, 2 nights a week. You would be in class, and then your 3rd class would be fully online. So this does give you some flexibility to have a student position or to have more of a social life in Ellensburg. And then it is a traditional education model. So you have your advisor, you have your faculty members, you can work closely with them. Sometimes they do have projects that they take on. For example, last year, the mayor of Ellensburg asked us to come up with a proposal for creating an electric car charging port. So we conducted research on the best location, cost analysis, and we submitted a proposal. I say we, it was a group of students, and it was actually accepted by the mayor. So it was competitive, it was exciting, it's on their resume. So living in Ellensburg and having that free time, you know, only being in class 2 days a week does allow you to take on extra projects like that. And then all of our faculty members come from industry with a wealth of experience. So we always encourage our students to network with professors, to ask some questions about their career, to get insight, to be mentees, and really utilize their life experiences. Next slide. This is the ITAM program. If there is a little star next to the class, that means that that class would be satisfied by the triple IT certificate. So we do start off the program with the boot camp that covers graduate level writing and success plan and using resources, and essentially you would have that class taken care of already. I will briefly turn this over to Dr. Takei if he wants to say just a little bit about each course. I understand we have a lot of questions, so we'll move quickly, but Dr. Hideki, would you like to talk a little bit more about these classes? It sounds like quite a few students have questions on what exactly do I get from this degree? And I think that that really lies in these classes.
Sure. Again, this is a core curriculum to make sure that you're going to be a great managers. So the first, we focus on the communication here. So 525, we are not only talking about business communication, but also communication with stakeholders. So when you finish this class, you know how to change your communication skills, communication ways, approaches, in order to actually appeal to each different types of stakeholder. That is the bottom line. And this global manager communication is definitely say global. That means we also put in the cross-cultural communication skills in it. So it makes you perfect, communication person in the organization anywhere in the world. Then 573, again, global leadership and supervision. We are thinking not only about American type of leadership, but also leadership categories, approaches you can actually apply in anywhere in this world, and particularly IT area. So if you took this global leadership and supervision, you are actually a professional supervisor with very strong leadership skill. Project management, global project management. Now we are talking about global ideas. So you have a virtual organization, virtual teams. So now we are actually teaching how we can actually make sure that this project has to be done in the appropriate way, not only one set of the location, but also virtual area. So again, you can actually utilize IT information technology to actually create appropriate project management planning. And 545 is research and statistical analysis of data. That's my class. But this is actually everyday business, right? You have a problem, you want to find the cause, you want to find a solution, you want to present so people actually can solve it. So this is the whole set of the how you can react if you find a problem. Then also, this will be introduction to the data analytics by actually learning how you can interpret a statistical outcomes in the very professional way, not like scholastic way, but professional way. So we teach you how you can practically understand, find a cause, find a problem cause, and find a solution and make a presentation based on the accurate interpretation of the statistical outcome. And financial analysis in IT administration management, it's finance, all about money, right? So when you finish that, you understand not only budgeting, but also how you can actually make the planning, financial planning, or you can check financial structure with your corporation. So you will actually be a semi-professional in the financial area. Then last one is comprehensive idea about managing global administrative management policy, which I'm also teaching it. Now let's bring every knowledge to the real global ideas. So when you finish 571, you actually simply say, hey, I learned management, but also I can go anywhere in the world. And MS ITAM will guarantee that. So that's all about the core curriculum.
Thank you, Professor Hideki. I just want to know if there's any specific scholarships that you want to cover, or is there anything else that you'd like to cover? I think the only thing that we'd like to know more about is the criteria is pretty defined. The course modules are pretty defined. I think the only two things that we're missing is what are some of the on-campus scholarships that are there, and the exact fee structure of the university after the articulation is done. So they're largely essentially doing about 36 credits on campus and 12 are what they're doing here already.
Yeah, I was just going to say, skip over to the scholarships.
Yeah, happy to speak on this, and then also to go over the fee structure. So Central Washington University offers an international student scholarship to all students at the bachelor and master level. So coming in for this MS ITAM program, you'd be automatically considered at the time of acceptance to the program. Current awards are up to about $11,300 US per academic year. So since your program is 9 months, it would be awarded in equal installments throughout that 9 months. You must have at least a 3.4 cumulative GPA to qualify for any award amount. And if you do receive this scholarship, it reduces the overall cost of attendance down to about $35,000 to $39,000. And I mean cost of attendance, I mean everything. So let me briefly go over that. So the cost of attendance is what's listed on your document I-20, which is a part of the F1 visa process. So it needs to include all expected expenses for an academic year. So Central's tuition is about $27,000. And if you receive that international student scholarship, it goes directly towards that $27,000. So it could be reducing it down to about $16,000 per academic year. Your estimated cost for books and supplies, health insurance, housing and meals, and personal, all of that is estimated and fluctuates based on the student. So some students may choose a health insurance plan that is less expensive, where they don't need as much coverage. Some students might live off campus in a more affordable apartment and maybe share with 2 or 3 other people versus getting a studio apartment and living by themselves. Personal expenses, again, will vary based on your spending habits. So are you eating out every day of the week, or are you cooking your own food? It also does include the flight costs from India to Seattle, but all of these combined, which is how we get to that about $47,000 as an estimated cost of attendance at Central for this program. Now, I do want to briefly mention some of the work opportunities that you can participate in while you're a student to help cover some of those personal costs. So on your F1 visa, you're allowed to work on campus at Central, starting your very first day on arrival. You can work up to 20 hours per week when class is in session, 40 hours per week during those breaks. So whether it's winter break, spring break, And currently the minimum wage is $14 an hour here in Washington State, and it will be increasing starting in Jan 2023 up to $15.60. So that is money to cover those personal costs, to buy new shoes, to afford your groceries and your food costs. So we really encourage students to participate in on-campus work opportunities. Not only does it allow you to meet other students and build up your resume, but it also offers that financial portion to assist in your studies. And then as we mentioned before, you do have the opportunity to apply for that 12-month work option once you graduate from Central in your MS ITAM program, with an opportunity to then participate in a 24-month STEM extension, making it a 3-year total opportunity to work in the United States on your F1 visa related to your ITAM degree.
Can I start taking questions, or would you like to go to the next slide?
We can go over questions, yeah.
Thanks, Stacy. Someone's asked me total duration of the degree with collaboration with UpGrad and without. So without, it's a 12 months degree. Of course, you've got a break. So essentially, I think that stretches to about 15, 16 months because you need a break. But of course, it depends a lot on if you're studying in the break or during the break, if CW gives you that option. But essentially with UpGrad, you're doing 8.5 months in India, 9 months on campus. That essentially brings your duration down to about 15 months. Of course, there's no break in between because 8.5 months, you can continue working. So you can be a working professional, still do the IIIT Bangalore course. It needs you to spare at least 10 hours a week and you're pretty much done. For 8 months, you can continue working. You do the 9 months course at a stretch. So you go in fall, finish more or less, I think, towards March or April, more or less. No, actually towards July, somewhere in July. And if you're going in January, then you're finishing your September. So with that said and done, I think the larger part to focus here is the cost difference. You're largely saving about 16 to 17 lakh rupees. There's one question that, Stacy, I would want you or Rachel or Professor Hideki to take is, for this MS degree, do we have to take GRE? No, that's absolutely no, because you're taking the IIIT Bangalore course, which is, it's so rigorous. You might think of it as easy, but it's very rigorous, and they need a 3 GPA on 4 because it's a grad level course, which is why it's waived off. But Stacy, why I want to come back to you is the question says, what kind of entrepreneurship support ecosystem does the university have? So can students actually build a tech startup? How much support do they get?
Yeah, that's a good question. I mean, as far as extracurricular activities, we do have the entrepreneurship club that students are welcome to join. But I'll let Rachel speak on the options within the program, or maybe their time to focus on that while they're studying at Central.
Excellent, thank you. Sorry, I'm also trying to respond to questions in the queue. So multitasking. Yeah, we do, like I said earlier, we try to provide as many opportunities to our students as possible to either work with our advisory board, to be mentors, to be mentees, to take on clubs, to take on projects with their faculty members. There's definitely time for that with, in between studies. So we also try to let our students know about every work opportunity possible as well. We know that, working and going to school can be difficult, but anytime we get a job opportunity handed to us from either a connection in industry or at the university, we will always email our students that we feel have a strong fit for that. But we'll also post it, or send it to just all of our grad students in general. So anytime we come across a job opportunity, research opportunity, club, event, anything of that sort, anything that enriches your life, we will tell you about it, as long as we're aware of it. So we want to make sure that you're getting the most out of this experience. And I don't know if that long-winded answer answered your question.
I'm sure you did. There's another one that you're answering, which I would like you to answer for everybody. I have 4 years of software development experience. How will this course help me to progress in a career?
Yes, thank you for saving me from typing. So I was just saying that that's fantastic to have that level of experience. Sorry if I cut you off. I think I had a little bit of delay. But essentially, you know, if you've already got the experience, the technical experience, that's wonderful. You still have a lot that you can, you know, you have an opportunity to continue to grow. We all do. And I think that one of the ways this program can help continue to help you grow is potentially prepare you for leadership or management experience to really help you refine any types of communication skills that you need to, or to help you really understand your leadership styles. Because when we get into working full time and having these careers, a lot of times we'll find that there's a certain stop point where if we don't have a master's degree, or if we don't have experience in leadership, if we don't have that applied knowledge, at a certain point, we do get passed over for promotions. So I think that this degree helps ensure that you won't be passed over for those promotions. This degree says, hey, I have leadership experience. I know my leadership styles. I know who I am. I can lead. I have 8 years experience, 4 years experience in this area, and I have this degree. Let me take on this promotion. Let me lead this team through the next year. So I think that this degree helps people who have a wealth of experience, such as yourself. And I think it helps people who have limited experience, because not only can you affirm what you already know, but you can also continue to grow and refine those skills and learn new skills and really show employers that you're ready to lead, to manage, to be an entrepreneur, and to be different from everyone else in industry who already has a computer science degree, who already has an MBA. You're different. And I think that's what's really great about this degree.
Absolutely. I think I echo that. And one of the other things that I think what you mentioned is very important, that sometimes as technical experts, we keep growing, but I think a good upskilling course or a good MS course helps you learn or develop capabilities as a manager, which is a very different skill set. On how do you still manage the efficiency in the tech outcomes that you're trying to build, but you're doing it with a handful of folks by your side, and you honing their skills, but also making sure that you're working together as an orchestrated machine. And like you said, I think a course like this, I can't see your name. I think, yeah, I can't see your name, but a course like this actually helps you expedite that ladder that you're trying to climb to the CTO. So I think it gets easier for someone with the technical experience, like Rachel mentioned, and a course like this where you do upskilling of technical foundational knowledge, but managerial and MBA ed also, you grow faster, a lot faster, and companies value you because, of course, there's an academic qualification attached, but also that you formally are, let's say, you're formally labeled as someone who can take care of this and take charge of this. I think having studied in the US, I think one of the other things is that they put so much of emphasis on capstone and the experiential learning that you actually, while you're studying, you solve so many case practices or you solve so many challenges while you're studying that you're almost more ready for those jobs than anyone else could be by virtue of the technical skill set. So I hope we answered you there. What are the intakes and scholarships by CW? So scholarships, she already mentioned. I can ask her to go back to that slide. Intake, if I'm not wrong, is going to be the spring and fall, but I can go back to Stacy and Rachel and say, I ask them.
Correct. Intake is fall. And then this is the slide again on our scholarship opportunities. Again, you're automatically considered at the time of acceptance.
$11,300 per academic year. That is massive. I think that's almost 1/3 of the course that you're doing. You're not paying for it as long as you got a 3.4 GPA. Got that. How many campus hours will be needed in a day? I think I'll rephrase that to how many campus hours will be required in a week. I can go back to Stacy or Rachel for that.
So class is typically 2 hours. Typically, it's always going to be Monday or Tuesday or Wednesday. So we'll pretend classes Tuesday and Wednesday. So it'll be from 6 o'clock to about 7:50 on Tuesday and 6 o'clock to 7:50 p.m. on Tuesday or Wednesday as well. We keep our classes at night because we want to let you have the opportunity of working a student position during the day and spending your day hours studying and doing homework. And then, so yeah, so I would expect about 4 hours in person in class. And then you have some homework online. I would say the rule of thumb is to set aside about 24 to 36 hours for your homework, your studies, and being in class each week.
Thank you, Rachel. I think I can go back to Professor Hideki for this one. The program career opportunities. I think I'd want to name a few that he mentioned. So you can be an information security analyst or an IT consultant or a principal global program manager, a project manager, a data analyst, IT manager. And I can go back to Professor Hideki and Rachel, who oversees this division, that what are some of the other roles that they can expect, or the career program. Oh, she has it on. So business intelligence analyst. So I think towards the left is an average or a median wage, and towards the right is the range from a fresh entrant to the job market to more or less the average grad that they have at CW. I hope that that's right, Rachel.
Yes, thank you. That is correct.
Would you want to take them through this once again?
Sure, absolutely. So these are actual job titles that our alumni have. In theory, there are so many job titles that you can have with this degree, but I wanted to pick ones that students really do have. Business intelligence analyst is a very, very common one. I see it all the time. And if you're seeing, all of these titles on this screen, I didn't just find it once in the alumni. I didn't just find one alumni with this, job. I found multiple, and that's why it's on this screen. So multiple students working in BI analyst roles, multiple students working as data analyst architects or engineers. Insights is, again, kind of an entry-level position, but even as an entry level, that's a huge salary range that you're able to negotiate. $53,000 to $86,000 a year. That's all able to negotiate. This is the Washington range, so it's important to notice that we do offer these salaries higher than the rest of the world, essentially. Well, the rest of the Washington state. Our salary ranges are higher than the rest of the United States. So if you're looking for jobs in Texas or, the East Coast, it might be a little bit different from what you see on this screen. But yeah, these are all positions that our students are eligible when they graduate. Again, you're not tied into entry-level positions with this degree. If you have more experience, you can negotiate for higher than entry level. Even, with limited experience, you can negotiate for higher than entry level. And again, you're not tied into just these job titles. We have students working in so many industries, working in healthcare, working in government roles, working in private sector roles, working for governance, and so many roles that, don't have the word data in it. So I think it's important to note that you're really not becoming, narrowed into one job with this degree, because it does cover so many different aspects.
Perfect. I think so. By what you said, I think part of the thing that I realized was that there's a huge wide range of roles that they can take on. I think that makes sense, and all the way from engineering to a project manager to an IT consultant, I think everything is covered. I think with this, we come to the end of the webinar. It's been a pleasure hosting three of you. I think I learned a lot. I'm sure the attendees learned a lot. And I just wanted to inform that my colleague has put down some of our course links, bachelor's, master's, and booster program link. And please feel free to sign up for them. You can always write me an email. And I'd especially like to personally thank Professor Hideki, Stacy, Rachel for coming over and making sure the attendees got as much as they could about the US job market, about why Washington makes so much sense. I'm sure we're all equally enthralled, equally excited, keen on this. The course starts towards the end of this month, so you might as well get in touch with an UpGrad counselor and start this. I'd go back to Stacy, Rachel, and Professor Hideki if they've got any valedictory message for the attendees.
I just want to say thank you so much for joining us this evening to learn more about your options of coming to Washington State, of studying in the US, pursuing your master's degree. So thank you so much for your time. And thank you to UpGrad for hosting us.
Thank you, Stacy. Rachel, Professor Hideki.
I'll let Hideki
Thank
go.
you. Thank you so much for inviting us. And I'm so happy to meet all of you. And also, we forgot to tell you, but when you join our program, we have a lot of supporting system. So students will graduate because they will be supported. Okay, so it's not about you just come here, you study by yourself, or you get MS ITAM if you're smart. If you're not, sorry, no, that's not going to be happening. If you got trouble, Rachel and me and also Stacy will always be there to support you. So we are actually saying that when you join us, we're not gonna let you go unless you actually earn the MS ITAM degree. Okay, so just relax a little bit. I know international students, just relax. You're gonna have a degree, but you have to study and you have to work with us.
I just wanted to thank you all so much for your fantastic questions and for joining us today. I know it's getting late. I did put my email address in the chat because I know there are still some questions out there about GPA. I would love to chat with any of you and all of you individually and answer all of your questions if you want. Feel free to email me your questions. It was so great meeting you all. Thank you for being here.
Thank you so much, Rachel, Professor Hideki, and Stacy. I think we've answered almost every question that we had. Most of them are just thanking you now. And someone's asking, what is the duration of my visa with this course? So you get an F1 visa, of course, for the duration of the course. Then you later get that converted into an OPT. That's 1+2 for a STEM course because MS ITAM is a STEM course. Everything else is all set. I'm from electronics and communication background. I think you're going to be okay. But you'll have to submit us a course by course evaluation so Rachel's team can go through it. I wish you guys good luck. There's someone also who asked business analytics. So as long as you're doing the advanced certificate program in data science, business and analytics is just a drop in the ocean of all of that. So I'm sure you don't have to worry. Wishing you guys a great day ahead and wishing all the attendees a great evening ahead. Thank you so much.
Thank
Thank
you.
you.
Bye.
Yeah.